my video. So, do you have any questions regarding regarding the routing algorithms we have? Sure. You can wait for 3 more minutes and then you can start it. So in the last session, we actually discussed about the basic classification of the ad hoc networks routing algorithms. Like we have two types of classifications, right? One is proactive, which was table driven. We have the routing table within each and every nodes, and is reactive, that is on demand. Like we have discussed one of the on demand routing algorithms, which is SDR, DSR, dynamic source routing, right? DSR we have discussed. So DSR is the dynamic source routing which we have discussed, which is reactive protocol, and it works in two phases. First is route recovery phase, and second is maintenance phase. And also discuss about how packet contains the path information. Advantages of the DSR, because it will add up your traffic, your overhead. It will increase, right? Traffic overhead will increase because we are actually containing each every node's information, each and every node's address within the packet header which we are sending out. We have the data payloads. Okay, so we are actually sending each and every address of the nodes, intermediate nodes, and source and destination. All of the things were there in the packet headers. So that will increase data packets. That will increase your congestion over the network, over the that will increase your traffic over the network. So this we have actually discussed in the last session. We'll see how AODP uses. We'll see how AODP basically use some of the concepts from DSR, some of the concepts from DSD. So at the last of the session, you will see DSR, DSD, AODP, how these algorithms differ, and in which case you can use which algorithm you can use. Start of the sessions today. Today's session was AODP learning program. AODP is ad hoc on demand structure. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible to all of you? See the video and the slides? Everyone? Am I audible to all of you there? Video and slides and okay. Okay. So we'll start by AODP routing protocol. So AODP is like an on-demand routing protocol only. Okay. But it will also use routing tables concept also, DSD, of table. Okay. This is a mixture actually. This is a mixture of your DSR and DSD. We will discuss DSD later. First we are going to discuss AODP. source to destination. On this routing protocol, we can use it. Okay. So source is going to flag some root request in the network. Okay. Suppose source S wants to connect to destination B. Now how it will know its address? It will flag root request in the network. Okay. It will actually broadcast the same way we done in SDR. To broadcast the root request AC packet, right? Then in this case, what differs is we are going to have reverse path which are going to form when a node hears a new request. As soon as we are going to receive root request at any of the nodes like A, C, E, we are going to give the reply packets to S. Okay. So each node forwards the request only once here. You will see why we are saying each node forwards the request only once. Okay. Because this is a pure flooding. Okay. If we are getting again the reply from C to S will not reply back because we are saying that we already requested for once, right? We already forwarded that request once from S. So we are not going to again request from S if we get some reply packet from C. Okay. So this is how it works. So your source is initiating the broadcasting for ACE and ACE will receive that, then they will reply back to source again. Okay. Source starts root request in the network, each node forwards a request on once. So now again ACE will broadcast again to BGE. They will reply back to C and then CE and then S. So they will make that reverse path also. Reverse path also will be formed when node hears a request, root request. This is what it means as compared to DSR. Okay. Whenever we are going to get, whenever any intermediate nodes is going to get any root request, we are going to form reverse path at that time only. Okay. So this is kind of increasing, we are decreasing the latency time of root discovery. Okay. So fastly we can able to get the root. Okay. Now again your GF will root request to D. So D will reply back to F, then E, then S. And it will also reply back to G, then C, then S. So there can be possibility of multiple root form. So we will root form here from S, E, F to D, from S, C, G to D. Okay. So depending upon routing tables we have in FC, we will choose one of the path. Either from ES or GCS. We will see which path we actually are going to take. It also depends on port numbers. Okay. When we are sending root request packet from source to destination, there is one counter called the sequence or port number. Okay. Port count is the number of the intermediate nodes. Suppose from S to D, it can come in two ways, from S to E, F and D. So, while the request packet is transferring from S to transfer to E, the word count is 1. To transfer to E, the word count is 2. To transfer to D, the word count is 3. Okay. Here we have word count. If we come in this direction, we have word count only 3. If we come in C, G, D, how many word count we have? We have 2 word counts. Okay. This is the shortest path actually. Okay. But there might be a problem or issue with loop collision, that collision can also occur. So, we cannot also determine of loop only, there will be some problem with there can be some problem with the collision also. If collision occurs, that loop route they might destroy. Okay. So, in this case, what is happening is, once you are getting the route request to D, there will be a reverse path which will follow from D to S. Here we are choosing D to S. So router like X is forwarded by the reverse path, thus forming the forward path. Once S will get the reverse path, it will form a forward path to send out the data packets. Now you can actually send out the data packets from S to D. Okay. The forward path this can be used to route data packets. You can route the data packets from source to D. Source to destination. Once our route path is determined, once we started sending the data packets from source to destination, the other routes which form, they will get expired and they will also continue other intermediate routes. Once we get the source to destination route path by parsing the reverse path, we will actually destroy the other route paths. That will actually decrease your overheads. That will actually decrease your what we are actually maintaining our route tables. Okay. So route tables can be shortened because we are actually destroying the extra or relevant routes which are not 3 hours, which are not 120 hours. Here also we have some like unused path expired based on a timer. We can also put a timer also. Okay. We can also wait for some time. Let's suppose we have discovered 2 paths and we started communication with one path, like 1 path, but in between that 1 path destroyed, like app destroyed, app intermediate nodes destroyed. So we can over CGD, this path we can choose, right? So that will be happening before timer expires only. Once the timer expires, again we need to do it again. Okay. The same thing we need to do. So this is what is your AODB, how your route discovery happens in your AODB. Okay. So an intermediate node with a route to D can reply to this route request. Here there is one optimization. You can do optimization here. An intermediate node to reply to route request. Okay, with a route D. So that will happen. That will be like a fast operation because we are actually maintaining the route tables, right? We are maintaining the route tables. If any intermediate nodes know any previous route to D, then that intermediate node itself can apply back to your source. And from there itself we can actually have the total route from source to destination. So how that intermediate node is going to store your previous routes within the routing table. From the routing table you read that, and then if we found any route previous routes to destination, we can actually use new destination. So we can apply that from there itself to source. Okay. This will actually comes with 2 things like fast operation you can have, even fast operation, and also which is route request that is it reduces route request query. Okay. It will not be more query. We are maintaining the route tables. Route tables we are maintaining. This concept we have taken DSD actually, which is table level. We will discuss that later. So if we maintain the routing tables, then we can actually maintain the previous routes to the destination. We can use those routes. So there is one problem here. What is the problem? Above optimization can cause loops in presence of link failures. We will see what is this loop problem is. Okay. If we will do this optimization, what is optimization is, if we have the routing tables within the intermediate nodes, that routing table, if it is having previous stored, we can use that route and we can apply that from the intermediate node itself so that your routing discovery methods will be faster. We can fastly discover the source to destination route. Okay. But the problem which occurs in this case is routes. Okay, how that route is going to happen if we do the optimization, we will see later in the next steps. How we can come up with any route problems. Okay. So, suppose there is a vector of A, B, C, D, and E. Any questions? We will see once we discuss this area. We will see how this root problem we can manage. So suppose there is a network of A, B, C, D, E, and in between C to D, after root discovery is done, right? After root discovery is done, we form the path from A to D. Suppose we form the path from A to D, and now in between when we are transferring the data from A to D, suppose if C to D link is, okay, assume phase. Node, node A is not more routed because the packet that needs to be sent from C to A, those are also lost. We are assuming that router packet is something when any link phase, there will be a packet sending out from the intermediate nodes to the source. That there is some linking error problem. Okay, we lost the connection between intermediate nodes and destination. But suppose the router packet has got lost. The router packet has got lost from C, then there is no way that A can know about that there is any link problem between C to D. A is assuming that I am transferring the data to D, but is not able to send the data to C. Okay? Because there is a link problem with C. C, when the data is going A to B and B to C, the data which is coming from C, that is not for C alone, right? It is for D. So C starts discovering, C starts root discovery here for D. Okay. So it will start broadcasting the packet from there itself. While broadcasting, it will broadcast to B and E, and then it will come up to A. But in the routing table of A, we have the route already reserved from A to D, right? We are using A. The route table will actually have the previous stored route from A to D. When we are sending the packets for broadcasting, when we are doing the route discovery, C to A, what a bit in the routing table. I have preserved this in the routing table. So, node A will be the routing list to C, E, and A. Okay. Then node A replies, node A will reply back. Why will reply back? We know the these output. Node A replies since A knows a route to B via node B. Okay. Via node B will try to reply back. So here you see this results in a loop. Every time it will the route is given by A to C, but still C is not going to find the address of D because there is no way between C to D. Right? Even though it gets the route from routing table which is present in the A link. Right? So again it will start broadcasting, again it will say, okay, I know the address of D, again it will transfer to C, C will again not able to connect the destination, right? So this will result in a loop here. What is a loop? C to E, E to A, and A will give the destination address, A to B, B to C. Again, it will not find the D, C. Like this, it will be a loop. Understood? What is the loop? What is the issue here? Everyone understood? What is the problem here? This is happening because we are optimizing. Okay. How we are optimizing? We are optimizing the routes is either the connection is bad or there is some loop happens. Okay, some problem will be there. If we are not maintaining the sequence of it. So what happens is in the packet I told you where we have the source address, destination address, the broadcast ID, we also have to validate the sequence number. So from one web to another web, we will update that sequence number so that we can say this packet is fresh. Okay. So each root to X at any also has X sequence number. Okay. So what happens is for each and every root, which is we are actually maintaining in the routing table of all the routes, whether it is source or destination node or whether it is intermediate nodes, we are maintaining the route table for the root rights, we are maintaining the routing tables. So with each and every route, we are actually associating one sequence number. Here what is CSC? X is sequence number associated with each of you is associating the latest value of X sequence number, which is the latest value of X sequence number. So basically what happens? This sequence number signifies your freshness of higher number, more up to date number. That is what I was finding out. So if your sequence number is higher, okay, that means your data packet is up to date and your root is also up to date. There is no need to change any root there. Your root is up to date. We are maintaining the sequence. Okay. So we will see how we actually. So this is how we can actually use sequence number AOA. Okay. So always remember that once we form the path from source to destination, destination is the one who is going to assign the latest sequence number to source. Okay. Because we are getting the package from where? From source to destination only. Okay. So always, whenever we are transferring the packets from source to destination, will update the sequence number in the source itself. When it goes to the source, it will update the sequence number in the source as per your destination. Okay. So, intermediate node applies to the root instead of forwarding request, only it applies the root to the higher associated sequence number. This you will understand in the next slide. So, this is how you can actually avoid the root problem. Okay. So, this is the same example. Suppose your C to D links got failed. Okay. Now, suppose the sequence number at A is 7, at B is 9, C is 9, and E is 5. Since we are transferring from A, B, C, and D, E sequence number is very low, right? It's very less because we are not updating it, because we are not using this path. We are using A, B, C, D. Okay. So, if suppose your link got fails, okay, so link failure increments the sequence number at C. So, it will start increasing the sequence number at C. Why? Because once you get the route from A to C, since it is a loop, right? A will see that A will see that C is the destination for it. There is no D, C is the destination. So at C actually your sequence number is going to update. Instead, it is going to update on D, it will update on where? It is going to update on C. So C's sequence number is going to be. So because of this loop, we should have, if that loop is not there, D destination sequence number should be increased and that should be given to A. But here, intermediate node which is C, C's sequence number will get increased. Okay. Again, it will, we are not transferring to D. So A's sequence will remain less only. Because who will increment this A's sequence number? It should increment by D sequence number. But D is not connected to A now. Because it is not able to transfer the data from, because the link is not there. Okay. So if C needs root to D, root request carries the DSL 10. Okay. It will see A does not reply as its own DSL is less than 10. Now what happens is, in this case, A will not reply back to C only. Why will not reply back? Because A's DSL, the sequence number is less than 10. Right?
only apply when the A sequence number will become greater than 10. Because your destination sequence number is 10, how could you can increase your destination sequence number? Right? So you will see there is some link is not corrected, and we are not able to send A to D. That's why I am not getting the sequence number from D. If the link was right, we should have updated the A sequence number as per the destination sequence number. But in this case, since link is not there, A sequence number will be less and C sequence number will become increased. So, if A with C, if my sequence number is less than what I am receiving from C, then I am not going to reply back. This is the thing. I am not going to reply back. I will only reply back when my sequence number will increase, then who is requesting me to for the route. Okay. Suppose if link was right, D was requesting to A sequence number will be. So this is how we can avoid the loop problem by maintaining sequence number. Any question within this loop I can explain again, or let me know if any question you have. This how we actually avoid the loop sequence. So that was our problem. We are getting the loops when there is the linking problem, we are getting the loop issue here. But how we are going to resolve it? We are going to resolve it with the help of sequence number. We update the sequence number as soon as we are getting the new packets. Actually, resolve this looping problem. We can actually avoid the loop problem. Any questions on that side? Okay, so we will see there is a path maintenance also. So once root discovery is done, your looping problem is solved, also you avoid it with the help of sequence number, sequence number. Okay. So here in AODB, we actually have to maintain the path also. Why? Because we are moving from your destination with moves from this place, movement not like the path level slow action. Source moves reinitiate to discovery. Suppose the source moving in lab of topology, it will reinitiate the root discovery. It will start your root discovery again. So when destination or intermediate node moves, if some destination or intermediate node moves, upstream node of break or task, they will actually send root error to source, and again the source start to find out the destination solution. So this is actually how we are actually dynamically maintaining the routing tables, and we are dynamically actually maintaining the root from source relationship. Even if your source moves, even if your destination moves, they will reinitiate the root discovery. If source moves, it will start initiating the root discovery without having any root error packets coming from upstream. But the destination or intermediate node moves, the upstream node will start broadcasting, start searching for root discovery once you get the root error problem on the upstream nodes. Okay? This root error packet, this will not two packets, root request, root reply. This is third one, third packet is root error packet, which contains list of all destinations, okay, which are no longer reachable due to link break. Due to some link break, those destinations are no longer reachable. So source will start initiating once again. Okay. So what is the summary of this AODB? The summary of AODB is at most one per destination maintained at each node. because we have OT table for each and every node. At least one route per destination is maintained in each route. So after link breaks, all routes using failed link are erased. If link breaks, then routes which are using failed link will be erased from the record. That is one thing. And your previous route will also, which are already there in the routing table, will also expire, will also destroy once on timeouts. When the timer expired, your previous route will also expire this case. Okay? And the most important thing in this is you are going to use sequence number in routes. If there is a root problem occur and EODP algorithm, you are going to use sequence number to avoid that looping issue in the EODP algorithm. Okay? And what is the optimization? The optimization is we are using routing tables instead of storing full routes. See, this is the difference between DSR and AODP. What we are doing in DSR, we are actually storing full route in the data packet itself. Right? The full route we are actually storing the data packet. That is our network traffic, the congestion. Data traffic actually goes increasing. But here in this case, we are not storing full route from destination to source. Set in the target. We are maintaining the routing tables. Okay. That will actually reduce your congestion over the network. Okay? You can actually transfer more data instead of just sending out destination, source, and destination, broadcast ID, and all those things. You can actually send more data. Data throughput will increase in this case. Okay? As compared to DSR, EODP is more better in this case. Okay? So here we have control threading. Control threading means we are having actually peer threading. Peer threading means the reply back is to trip from the threading. It goes to the source again, it will discard that. It will not take it. It will not again transfer the root request to again those same nodes. So every node, intermediate node and source node will root request will broadcast the root request once in a time. Once in a time that we are doing the root request. So it's a pure threading. It's a pure threading. Okay. So this is the how we can actually do optimization by using the routing tables in AODP and how we can actually avoid the root issue by using the sequence number, remove the previous routes that are stored in the routing table depending on expiration, depending on timer value, depending on timers. Okay, we can remove those just to have the enough space routes that will be stored in the routing tables. Okay. So this that was something. So we see AODP is also an improvement over DSDP. Okay, but we first study what is DSDP. This for time being, I'm just skipping this slide. Any questions regarding is my voice not clear? Somebody is saying like my voice is breaking. Is my voice in video everything is clear or is the problem? Is my voice clear to all of you? Audio problem there. We are getting some audio problem there. Audible now? Am I audible now? popular routing algorithms which is based on algorithm called Kalman for algorithm. Okay? There is a algorithm called Kalman for algorithm. This algorithm is basically using wired networks. If we have intermediate nodes, connected to the wired network, there also we use routing tables, right? There also we routing tables to store the route from source to destination. And here, Kalman algorithm says that each node is going to maintain a hop count for each destination. Okay. For each and every destination, each node is going to maintain a hop value. Okay. And nodes are periodically sending their routing tables to neighbors. Okay. Here, what it happens is, as per the Kalman algorithm, we are maintaining the routing tables to each and every nodes. Now, we also need to update the routing tables. So, to update it, we need to broadcast the routing table, we need to send the routing table to the neighbors also. So that the neighbors can see, okay, this is the routing table, this is how we are going to find out the path from source to destination. So, periodically sends, the intermediate nodes will send the routing table also to neighbors. And they will also maintain a word count value. Word count value more from A, B, C, D, how many nodes are there? A to B, B to C, C to D, 3 nodes are there. So word count value is given. This is what word count is. How many transfers from one node to another node we are actually taking? Because we go from A to B, the word value will increase by 1. If we go from A to B to C to D, the word value will increase by 3. Okay. So here we are maintaining the routing tables, we will periodically update the routing tables, we will send those to the neighbors, and we will recalculate the shortest path. See, previously we are not, in AODB we are not able to find the shortest path. Previously we are not able to find the shortest path depending on the routing table AODB. But here we have all the information in routing table because this is a table-driven mechanism only. So table-driven mechanism, we can actually find out the shortest path from source to destination, and we can recalculate also in between. We can recalculate also. So it is kind of increasing the performance. We are increasing the performance of our station. So it is a productive protocol and shortest path routing. So this, if we are working physical Kalman for algorithm, we are going to have shortest path from source to destination. With the help of the routing table we are managing, we are maintaining each and every node. Voice not clear? The voice is clear to all of you? So, okay. So, what happens is DSDB uses distance vector routing. Distance vector routing is a routing we did in wired network with the principle of using this Kalman algorithm, which basically works with routing tables, which can also give us a flexibility of recalculating the shortest path depending upon the routing tables within the intermediate nodes from source to destination. It is productive protocol and shortest path to find out. So here some more issues were there in the distance vector routing. So in distance vector routing via network, it continuously update the reachability information to all the network nodes. That means it continuously the routing tables of each and every network node. Okay? Depending on the situation. So will see we can actually update the routing tables of each and every nodes within the network in two forms, increment or in increasing or small increase in nature. You will see that when we study DSD, how to actually update the routing tables. So here, low root request latency and high overhead. So you will see now DSD. So DSCP is like destination C. It depends on the principle of where and for algorithm. What depends on where for algorithm? Because we are going to use routing tables having in this case and routing tables are going to update it. We are going to update the routing tables here. Okay? So add to this algorithm actually adds to the distance vector routing. It depends totally on distance vector routing if you basically use a wire network, but it will add two more things. One is sequence number, which will actually avoid loops. As we did in AODB, here also we are doing in sequence number. This is also for avoiding the loops. And second is diacritic, old advertisement. Hence, for these are short durations. So we will see some little difference in DSDB and DSR actually here only. So DSDB performs well at the low node mobility. Why we are saying it performs well at the low node mobility? Because if there are less number of nodes, okay, we have to maintain less number of routing tables. Okay? And your what we say if your node is going far away, okay, this high mobility is there, we will actually update the routing tables of the networks. This transferring the mobility is changing frequently. Okay, so frequently we change the routing table here. So routing table data is actually more as compared to that the data we are sending in the packet, right? The packet we are sending the root, one root we are sending. So if there is a high mobility region is there it is better to use DSR. So DSR performs well at all mobility ranges. Okay. And DSCP works good at low mode because they will let routing tables need not be updated frequently. But how performance will increase? The performance will increase because we have the whole route in the routing information, routing table itself. There is no need to have the routing discovery mechanism and routing in all those phases. We've studied this already. Here there is no route discovery. We already know each and every node the route from source destination. So that will always increase. So you should be knowing that DSTP is the table algorithm, which where we are actually maintaining routing tables to each and every nodes. So it will be the performance will be faster. Okay? But in the case when we are actually your nodes are the mobility of the nodes are increasing, then in that case to maintain update the routing labels it will be difficult because the route is will be updated, right? Then you need to update the routing table as per the routing table. In that case, DSCP can become like a little slower, it will get a little overhead, or it will be condition. This one most different DSCP DSR. Any question between distance, difference between DSCP and DSR? Any questions from your side? Okay, we will go in and out, depending upon that in and out, your routing table will update. We will still DSDB little bit, and we can actually see that the DSDB is also updating frequently its routing tables. Instead of broadcasting the packet just to find out the news, it is actually maintaining, it is actually updating its routing tables dynamically. Does it make sense? So you can say that this is also a dynamic because we are dynamically maintaining the routing tables. We will see next step when we discuss more DSDB how frequently it updates its routing table. Okay, let me give some time just to verify this DSDB mode. We will see DSDB mode as DSDB essentially. Okay. Then we will see how it is dynamically available now. Make sense? We will discuss what was DSDB, then we will see. So, how DSDB works, I will see. There is what happened A, B, C, D, E. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, all nodes are maintaining their routing tables. All nodes. Before, actually, we are adding a node here. We are moving a node here. Before adding a node, B, C, D, E node, all these nodes know about each other. They know about each other because there is information already there in the routing tables. Okay, there is already information in the routing tables. Now we are trying to add one more node to this network. Dynamically, we add one more node to this B, C, D, E. Now what happens when A joins this network? When A joins this network, node A transmits the routing table. It will transmit its own routing table with A, its own source address, 101 sequence number, 0 is the host output. 0 is the host output. So it will transfer this routing table to what? Transfer the routing table to B. Then B receives this transmission and it will insert what it will insert? A101, A1 will insert the host sequence to 1 and also insert that we got this from a source. Now B will propagate new route to neighbors. What B will do? B will propagate this sequence, this routing table to C and D. Okay. So neighbors update their routing tables also. Neighbors will also update tables, and when it goes to C, the routing table, the host sequence will become 2 there. Okay. And already have A, and you will also have B cells there. See, the sequence number remains same. This is the same sequence number. It will let us know that A is trying to connect, A is trying to tables with B, C, D, and E. Okay. And depending upon the host sequence of host count, the value will increase. See, from A to C, the host sequence is 2 here. From A to B, the host sequence is 1 here. The last digit is 1. The value of host number. And it continues the equation of information to the next result. So this is how you are actually, when see how we are doing the routing updates, because this is also dynamic work. So what happens is each node periodically transmits updates. This is the point. So each and every node periodically transmit the updates about the routing tables. That okay, some changes were made in the routing tables. If some major changes happens, major changes only happens when there is some extra link formula or extra node added. Okay? Then only some major changes happens, and then they start transmitting. Okay? If there is no major changes, so routing table, depending upon the algorithm, routing table will updates very less frequently, infrequently, very less frequently will update just to check whether all the routing tables will update or not. No, it will not send the data packets. It will not send the data packet. It will just send that sequence, source address, and your row sequence. Okay. That is one of the entry in the routing table actually. One of the entry in the routing table will just send it to other nodes, just to update the other nodes routing table. It will not send any data packet. Exactly. Transmits updates, include its sequence number, what that it will include sequence number and routing table will update. The sequence rows also send routing table updates for important link. No, it will not be having any duplicates. So if you find any duplicate nodes, you will try to remove that node. Okay? That routing tables we are maintaining, those are like one-to-one, like source destination, source destination. There is no duplicate duplicates there. Otherwise, we can have some NDT, the routing table itself will not be able to find the source destination routes. Okay? They cannot do it. So those sources and routing table updates for important link changes. Whenever there is important link changes, any link destroyed or any link, the node will send the routing table updates. When two routes to destination receive from two different neighbors, it will choose the one with latest destination sequence number. Okay. There is something called, suppose you are talking about duplicates here. So there might be no duplicates, but there might be two different routes. Okay. There might be two different routes. One is having, I suppose, three independent routes between, and one is having suppose two independent routes between. So we choose smartly, we choose depending upon the code count. The code count value is 2, and the other code count value is 3 for the other node, it will choose that code count. It is very smart. Okay. As compared to AODP, that was not smart. Okay. Here, this is smart because if you are actually using this code count value just to see, okay, code count is 3 or 2, if it is 2, that means we just have 2 independent routes with 2 source and destination. Actually use this is the shortest path. That is why we are actually saying this algorithm is trying to find out the shortest path source to destination. So DSDB is the shortest path code. Yeah. So there is one problem. So there is one problem which will occur within the CSDB. What happens is it's not a problem itself. It's kind of, you can say, flexibility which this CSDB algorithm is giving. So whenever is any link breaks, okay, whenever there is a link breaks, let's suppose A, B, C, D, E is one of the background and from B to D, E, B to D link breaks. Link B to D breaks. Okay. Now notice D, node D, notice is break. Because D is a key that enter of the table, the root count value will go to infinity for D and D. When the root count value is infinity, that means you cannot reach the D and D. You cannot reach the D node, you cannot reach the E node. The root count value for D and D is infinity now. So, increment sequence number for D and node D what will be sent, node D will send updates. Send updates to another node because there is a new linkage. So, update the other nodes to the network regarding this link linkage with new route information. What is the new route information? And E. E is having the sequence number 203 and E is having one sequence number. Their row count will become finite infinite to tell the others that if you are going to use this route, you are never going to use DNA because the row count is infinite here in this one. This is how actually works. This is how actually the D will notify other nodes in the network that there is no linkage between D and D. Because row count value is infinite. Make sense? Is it clear? The line breaking system, how to actually use port number to notify the other nodes means A and C. Just to tell them that there is no linkage between D and E. This is the DSDB summary. The DSDB summary is you already know that we are going to maintain rules. This is a table of rules. The rules are going to maintain evening and even regulatory actions. So there are two types of updating. One is periodic. Periodic means even when there is no linkage or link break or link addition, it will be updated. That is very less important. Very less important. Just the condition of updating the routing tables. Okay. But the second operation is depending upon the event trigger. And when event trigger, when the event trigger is running, the answer goes out. The load is connected to that node. You start running the other nodes, you start updating the other nodes in the network that you need to. So please, I think that was probably, like I was saying, some happening. So yeah, we are actually updating the node periodically or depending on the event trigger. So increment comes at certain time to reduce control overhead. Also, there is something called incremental dumps. Incremental dumps means after some time you are dumping all the information about the tables each and every nodes. Okay? And then you will wait for some time. this information is not efficient for large device, and they will actually create this very much. This is one destination. This is based on Panama algorithm, and each mobile containing automatically becomes a number of codes each destination. Now, when you updates and you write it down, you also each of the secret have this tables and also have shortest path to sequence to minimize the number of values and methods used depending on the changes. These is one of some of the characteristics. I'm just going to we're done with ESR and this is something we're done with EODB, we are done with ESC. These are the three algorithms which study for routing. Okay. DSDB is a table level. We are actually handling the routing tables. And there is no source discovery. How discovery? ESR will have no discovery. EODB is also making routing tables. EODB is a combination of ESR and ESR. Where EODB will also maintain the route discovery and will also maintain scale outputs routes which are not valid. You can say, still routes like wrong data or something correct data. Suppose asking DSR or WRP. WRP, I don't know what is WRP. This is a characteristics of protocol characteristics. You see here, DSP protocol out. It's a computed priority. Okay? Computed priority means the root is already computed previously. Root is already computed previously because we are routing ABC. And breadth of discovery, these are some characteristics of the list which you can figure out what is DSP. So breadth of discovery means more critical of discovery. Not discovery. Working with routing ABC. Okay? Error of discovery? No. Not error of discovery. There is no delay. Capability of load optimizing. Effect of load failure. Whenever there is any load failure, we need to update. Can you slide over? Maybe have slide. Slide over. So, what happens is like in routing levels, you will actually maintain a sequence number also. Okay. Suppose the previous sequence was stored like some loop is there, okay, some loop happened. So that loop can also make a loop. Okay. That loop can actually maintain one loop. But that loop is actually a scale loop. And that is not a good loop, that is not a valid loop. Okay. So how we actually avoid loops? The sequence number, right? So if we have the each and every table is marked as a sequence number, which can help us to reduce or to avoid those scale loops, those loop loops. Scale loop is nothing, it's the looping loops or it's the previous loops. Those are kind of expired, the time is not expired on those. What is expired on those loops? Those are loops. Makes sense. Expired loop, your loop loops are scale loops. That's what we're saying here. Each and every thing is compensated. You will have to distinguish the scale loops from yours and the avoid the loops also. You can also avoid the loops by the happy sequence loop. So here we have DSDB. DSDB is loop is already predetermined here. There is no discovery. There is no delay. Yeah. Well, roots are still roots. Your previous roots that expired, those are still roots. Okay. So sometimes we can be removed. We establish the new roots, your sequence number will get updated. Once the sequence number will get updated, the still roots the scale roots of roots will also be removed. So here you see DSR is on demand. DSR is dynamic source of things on demand. Whenever you need that ship from the destination, then start with this. This can be sent to broadcast packets and see the platform discovery is aggressive. It's very aggressively aggressive use of caching may reduce that. Here we use some kind of caches. Aggressive use of cache if we are going to use, we actually use some first because we use caching. Frequently, we understand that information cache itself is actually direct connection. So the learning can be used pretty well. So, yeah, related to home discovery, yes, there is related right? Because we have to do home discovery. The broadcast the packets and run the rules. That's like we have yesterday we have how many rules, rules. There's no more related rules. This is one of the theory also have one demand and communication here using first. Delay from discovery? Yes. It's not delay of discovery. Because you are doing broadcasting. So I'll just show you the next one. Just to show you the difference between DSR, DSDB and UADB. I'll show you the next one here. I want to show you the next one. I will share the path. See this data now is like distinguish each and every DSR UADB. just now shared your path. This is IJEE paper upon the comparison between DSR, AODP and DSD. This is the paper actually. You see here, the next 9 parts are there. Then single. We can clear close. This is basically all of this. So in case where class already is there, this pattern use what? Yes. Because we pass it this way, when the already is there. In case of but in the case of no modality, where is the no modality, then that is this pattern use DSR. Because otherwise there will be a lot overhead of updating the routing packets each and every time. And network topology changes, your weight of things. Yes, I can use it. Your network topology changes, and your network topology changes, and the mobility of the device. So, this is the end with the first session, and we discuss about your protocols, discuss about the differences, how it works. Yeah, and then the definition, right? Yeah, definition slides. Thank you for giving your time. This was my last session. From the next session, yeah, whatever you should do. From the next session onwards, police will take care of the concepts.